Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here at my TNA Wrestling review for tonight, March the 8th, 2012. Over tonight's Impact. Kind of a weird one. We have new champions. I can't believe I'm saying that. We'll get to that in a moment. And we also have, I think we had like 2 title matches in a row. And then we had like the main event was just okay. And then we turned tonight. Finally, creative have something for a certain asshole. Finally. And maybe a certain news on Abyss and other things. Let's get down to it. Starting Impact off with Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff coming out with Gunner. Now, last week, Ric Flair threatened Eric Bischoff that if you show up to Impact next week, you have signed your own death warrant. Well, they said, Garrett, you arrived, and you're going to face the consequences. You have to find a partner to take on Gunner and his partner, Kurt Angle. I think we can kind of predict who would Gunner pick, Garrett pick as his tag partner. Kind of guessed, and I was kind of right. We'll get to that. And that was our main event of the evening. Speaking of tag team, on to our first matchup, which was made by Sting. Cuckoo, Sting. As he made a match with, I am not believe I'm saying this, for the Knockouts Tag Team titles, ODB, yes, teaming up with Eric Young against Gail Kim and Madison Rayne. Of course, they're going to face off for the Knockouts title. If their problems weren't big to begin with, well, problems have gotten bigger between Gail and Madison in this match. Well, I can't even call it a match. It was more like a fucking segment. Kind of reminds me of Raw last Monday with Santino. Like that match, we crowned new champions. Yes? After, it was like, you know, Eric Young, typical Eric Young, he tackles with the referee, didn't want to touch the ladies. Basically like a 1-on-2 situation with ODB dominating. But then Eric came in and double hair cup to slam to Gail and Madison. And then Madison came. And the ending came and Madison came and whammed a belt at Eric when Eric was on Gail. Unfortunately, Madison landed Eric on the wrong side. When she nailed the belt at Eric landed on Gail for a pinning predicament. 1, 2, 3, yes, Eric Young and ODB, the new Knockout Tag Team Championships. Now, we all know the Knockout Tag Team division is bad to begin with. But now that Eric Young's the champion, he's as bad as a champion as another champion. I'll talk about the television championship in a moment. Seriously, Knockouts Tag titles mean nothing. Now Eric Young being champion, a man, the titles now are worthless now. So after the match, Eric proposed to ODB. He was like trying to impress her. That's why Sting made this match with him and ODB. Sting's all paranoid about Bobby Roode, yada, yada, yada. So Eric Young proposed to ODB, but ODB turned the tables. She proposed to Eric Young. So apparently we're going to have our only second TNA wedding. Now, a few years ago, we had that wedding with SoCal Val and Jay Lethal, wooed by Sanjay Dutt. It's only the second TNA wedding. Actually, the third TNA marriage. Because I remember that whole Kurt Angle, Karen Jarrett thing, and the whole AJ thing. What was that, like 2 or 3 years ago? So it's the third TNA marriage. Maybe we'll see a wedding, maybe at Victory Road, or maybe at Lockdown. But I can only imagine them having a wedding in a steel cage. Predicament. So there you go, newly engaged and newly crowned tag team knockouts champions. I still can't even say that. Eric Young and ODB. And now Gail's got more problems with Madison heading towards their title match for the knockout singles title at Victory Road. Imagine Gail's going to be all fired up against Madison. Couple concurring segments throughout the evening. We saw apparently Abyss's brother trying to look for Abyss. We saw a video on Abyss last week. So he's like trying to figure out what happened to Abyss. He arrived. We didn't know what was happening. It's going to be stupid, this whole Abyss thing. But at least someone came back tonight. Not Abyss though. Now it was James Parks, his name. Now on to our next segment. Our next match we just had a Knockouts Tag Team title match. What's next? An X Division title match. As Austin Aries took on Zeba Iron. Now this match, he was happy. He was kind of disappointed it wasn't going to be at the pay-per-view. Well, may still happen at the pay-per-view victory one, because his match was typical X Division action. Very okay matchup. Very back and forth action. Zeba Iron tried to have his own way. Austin tried to fight his fate. There was some decent moves. Austin misses guardrail. Decent matchup. But the ending kind of ruined it for me. Zeba Iron grabbed the spray can like he did last week. He was trying to get the victory that way. But then Austin Aries had the spray can. He got caught by the referee using it, causing him a disqualification. Then Zeba won by DQ. I smell a rematch at Victory Road. So there you go. Zeba wins by DQ. Ruined the match for me. We'll see what happens. Probably Victory Road match. Sting probably make it next week. Speaking of Sting, on to our next segment, which involves Sting. Bully Ray wanting to be the #1 contender, especially since he beat the crap out of James Storm last week, following the 6-man tag with him and Bobby and Angle against Hardy, Storm, and I forgot what they teamed up with. It was not Hardy. It was Storm and the tag team champions, Magnus and Joe. So Bully Ray came out and said, "Sting, I want you to make me the #1 contender for Bobby Roode at the pay-per-view. I'm sick of being second fiddle." Sting came out saying, "You want Bobby Roode? You want him? I'll give you him now. Non-title, of course." They were crazy to have 3 title matches in a row. So they have non-title Bully Ray and Bobby Roode. Decent matchup. It was okay. Another screwy ending. We had a DQ for Zeba and Austin. We had a no contest in this match. Bobby was trying to be a pussy, to play the friend card. But then he bitch slammed Bully Ray, and that knife edge chop to Bobby Roode that Bully Ray delivered. Like, oh God, I could feel the sting at home. But it was an okay matchup. You know, Bully Ray tried his best to beat the crap out of Bobby Roode, trying to send a message to him. But then midway towards the match, near the end of it, which was the ending, here comes James Storm coming in, chasing after Bully Ray. Wanting revenge on Bully Ray after what happened last week, causing a no contest. Although Bully ran away, James like, you know what? Boom! Super kicked Storm Roode, sending messages to Roode as we head towards lockdown. But I can see this Bully Ray James Storm thing ain't over yet. Maybe another #1 contenders match. You know, they had so many with these two. They have another #1 contenders match at Victory Road for lockdown. So we'll see what happens. Andrew's a disqualification victim for Bobby Roode. I know it was a no contest, but there you go. On to our next match, which was #1 contender, which was a #1 contenders match for the tag team titles, as Robbie E and Robbie T took on Crimson and Matt Morgan. Now, I was talking earlier about giving Eric Young the tag team Knockouts Tag Team Championship, killing that division, saving Robbie E. The television title means nothing. Robbie E has it, it means nothing. Same thing with Eric Young being Knockouts Tag Champion, the titles mean nothing now. So there you go. The Knockouts title is as worthless as the television title. So, and I knew it was going to be like an easy win for Morgan and Crimson. Why would they take on these two for a shot? So, Crimson came in, dominated most of the match. Morgan came in like a house of fire. He kicked the crap. Basically, Robbie E was fed to the wolves. Here's the ending. Morgan came in with a carbon footprint. Crimson blind tanks himself in, gets the pin after Morgan delivers the carbon footprint. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Crimson and Morgan gets the victory. They was to get possibly one last shot against Joe and Magnus. But Morgan was mad at the way it happened, with Crimson stealing a victory from Morgan. Crimson's like, oh, let's win as a team. All for one for all. Where it's all for me and one for me, basically, on Crimson stealing the victory from Morgan after he did all the damage. One to get all the hoopla for being the victim. But something will happen in the match between Morgan and Crimson versus Joe and Magnus at Victory Road. I bet you something will happen. Like Magnus will try to be hit by Crimson, but maybe Crimson will hit Morgan. We'll see what happens at Victory Road. Speaking of possible match with Victory Road, on to our next segment, which is AJ Styles coming out. He's had his problems with Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, which catapulted into last week with the gauntlet match with Kaz getting the victory after making Daniels disqualified after delivering the Fade to Black to AJ. Where AJ was sick and tired of being turned on by his friends, and Kaz kind of gave an answer on why he's been doing what he's been doing. Snap Black was because of jealousy. Basically, Kaz is jealous that you get the spotlight while me and Daniels get pushed around and get fucked with and don't get a shot at the titles like you do. And AJ's like, I need some help. I kind of expected AJ to get a tag partner to take on Daniels and Kaz in a match. Guessing 50 out. AJ was like, I need a wheel. He's finding out he doesn't trust friends anymore. He's like, I want a wheel. Asshole! Yes, after months and months of giving nothing by him, to him by TNA, having nothing for him, Mr. Anderson returned tonight, tagged the crap out of Kaz and Daniels. We found out that Christopher Daniels will wrestle Mr. Anderson in his first match back. Anderson! Yes, glad to see him back. Hopefully TNA uses him good than they were doing. But I smell Anderson and AJ versus Kaz and Daniels at Victory Road. I'm guessing that. I'm smelling that. Or even better, maybe have them be involved in Lethal Lockdown. At Lockdown, if they even have that this year at Lockdown. Have Team AJ against Team Kaz and Daniels. Who knows? We don't know much about Lockdown yet, but it's still early. We're focusing on Victory Road. So we'll see what happens. Now on to our main event. Garrett Bischoff teaming up with, yes, Jeff Hardy. When, like I said, when they made the announcement that Gunner was going to team up with Kurt Angle, I was going to say Garrett's going to pick Jeff Hardy, where he did. And this is basically okay main event. It was mostly a one-sided affair with Gunner and Angle beating the crap out of Jeff Hardy, Garrett being an experienced, distracting referee. Basically, Jeff Hardy got his butt with the majority of the match. Then Jeff Hardy had a house of fire. He came in, tagged in Garrett at last. Garrett had a house of fire. He had a little DDT move. I don't really know what it's called. Then he double clothesline Angle and Gunner. And Hardy tagged himself in. Cut the swanton. 1, 2, 3. That's how the match ended. With Garrett walking out as a victor with Jeff Hardy. And walking out with a bigger bullet on his head from Gunner and Bischoff. Eric Bischoff, that is. I bet you Gunner wants Garrett in the worst way next week. We'll see what happens with this whole Garrett Eric Bischoff thing. It's getting out of control. But big victory for Garrett and Hardy. So, like I said, Hardy will probably face Kurt Angle at the pay-per-view Victory Road as well. So there you go. Okay, Impact, kind of weird with a DQ and a no contest, actually another DQ in a row. And new Knockout Tag Championship, like I said, the Knockouts Tag Division is worthless, especially with Eric Young as champion. Stupid. It is in the same week, two comical douchebags like Eric Young and Santino are crowned champions in the same week. Isn't that ironic? Even though TNA was taped in advance and War was live. So there you go. I'm not calling him like doodoo heads, you know what I mean? This is comedy people. So there you go. That is my TNA Impact review. Thank you all for watching. See you all later. With that, you all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you all very much for watching. See you all later. Yeah. Have a great weekend too.